I am a 24-year-old female, and my sister's 27. I'm married with 2 kids, and my husband's also 24. My sister has told me it makes her feel insecure that I'm married with kids and she isn't. Personally, I think my sister is way cooler than me. She's in school to be a dentist, working very hard too in luxury retail. She used to tell me all she ever wanted was a white Mercedes, and she bought herself a white Mercedes recently. I was so proud of her. Every penny I ever spend comes from my husband. Yeah, I have a nice car, not nearly as cool as hers, but I didn't buy it. My husband did. Same with everything else. He buys my clothes, my house, everything. She's a hardworking lady and she gets to spoil herself. She doesn't have to ask a man to do it for her as I do. And while I love my husband more than anything in this world, I still look up to my sister. She has a new apartment with a backyard and invited my parents and me all over for a barbecue. I asked if I could bring the kids, and she said yes, but not my husband. I asked why, and she said it makes her feel insecure when we're in his presence. I asked why. She said I'm 3 years younger than her, and it makes her feel bad about herself because she doesn't have any kids and isn't married. Not to mention, she has a boyfriend, and he's friends with my husband. He has no problem with him at all. They were communicating about what we should bring. I told my sister I'd come alone because I didn't want to deal with the 2 toddlers alone, but she said she'd help with them and wanted me to bring them, just not my husband. I said I could only bring one then, and she said to bring both no matter what. So I brought my husband. Her boyfriend greeted him, knowing he wasn't supposed to be there. I sat next to him inside, but she had me come over to where she was and asked if I could move away from him, my husband. I respectfully declined, and she went over and told him, "So that you know, you weren't invited." Now he feels like crap and he went home, and I followed him. My sister's only a block away from us. We didn't drive. He said he didn't know that they hated him, and he thought it was all his fault. She said I knew it made her uncomfortable around him because she wasn't married yet. So, am I the idiot for bringing my husband? Everyone's the idiot here. Your sister is absolutely the idiot for the way she treats your husband. Full stop. You are also the idiot for not standing up for him and subjecting him to her abuse. Instead of telling her that you wouldn't go without him, so you'd be staying home, you brought him without telling him what was going on. Your husband is not an idiot. He's an innocent pawn. I'm calling BS on your sister's reasons. I think she's lying to you. She has a good job and is working towards a professional career, her own place, and a boyfriend. If she wanted to marry and have babies instead, why didn't she just do that? It feels like there's something more at play here. Going out on a wild limb. Maybe she fancies your husband, envies your relationship with him, and can't stand to see the 2 of you together because she's jealous. See, if her insecurities are based on you being married with children, how come she's demanding you bring the kids? How come she's demanding you don't sit next to your husband when her boyfriend is there? That's what got me. If she's upset about not having a husband and children, wouldn't the children be as triggering as the husband? Something else is happening here. On the other hand, she has a right to invite or exclude whomever she wants from her own home. You don't get to decide that for her. On the other hand, she's a lot. Please tell me this isn't a she got with her sister's ex situation. That was my thinking too. The older sister is weirdly obstinate about not being around the husband. There's a past between them, or a boyfriend told her something about the husband that OP doesn't know, or maybe the sister has a thing for the husband. Update. Some people have the same concern I've had for 8 years now. I think my sister does have a crush on my husband, but I'm not 100% sure if that's true. The only evidence I have is sometimes I catch her staring at him, and I'll say something silly like what you see? And she'll say, no, I just like his shirt. And sometimes she'll look at him and say to me, I wish I had what you have. But I always assumed she was talking about a family in general, not my husband specifically. A lot of you are totally right. I totally should have let my husband know, and I should have just told my sister straight up, I'm either going with my husband or not at all. I didn't think of it like that. That being said, here's the real reason for this update. I took your guys' advice. I called her, apologized, and asked her straight up, "Do you have a crush on my husband?" She stuttered a ton and said, "A little bit." So I think that answers it. Should her boyfriend know? Should my husband know? I don't know what the right thing to do here is. My daughter and son are only 18 months apart, but are completely different people. My daughter has dozens of friends and loves socializing and going out. My son has 2 friends he can go days without talking to, and when he's not at school, he likes to be in his room reading. Sometimes I send him outside for a little sunshine, and he reads books on Libby with his phone on the porch. Recently, my daughter accused me of favoring my son and punishing her for being more outgoing. My son rarely's denied doing something he wants to do. I don't force my kids to do much with their free time. If their homework's done and their rooms are clean-ish, they can spend their weekends doing whatever. My son usually spends his weekends in his room, as I said. However, my daughter always wants to go somewhere. She usually asks me to drive her. If I can, I will, but sometimes there's a scheduling conflict. I also don't always have money to give her, which she usually asks for. One of her friends' moms can sometimes pick her up, but again, she usually goes to a movie, the mall, or a restaurant with a friend. She usually wants money, and I can't give her $40 every single weekend for hangouts. It's just not financially feasible. I told her she might consider suggesting cheap or free activities to her friends, but she said that isn't what the group wants to do. I suggested she might get a part-time job, and she was upset. She said I've never told her brother to get a job. He's 18 months older. The thing is that my son is cheap and easy. He doesn't ask for expensive books, and if he does, he asks for them as a gift for his birthday or Christmas. He reads stuff from the library or the internet. When he hangs out with his friends, they hole up in his room or play board games in the living room. Still, my daughter says he always gets to do what he wants, and she's often told no. It feels incredibly unfair to her. Am I the idiot for telling my daughter to do less expensive hobbies or get a job just because she's more extroverted? Not the idiot. You aren't pushing her for anything. You just aren't giving her limitless pocket money or lifts. It's not anyone's fault that your son is less demanding. And a solution could be to give them a set amount of pocket money each week or month, not just cash when they ask for it. This will teach them financial responsibility and make things fair, as it sounds like you spend much more on your daughter than your son. She can't just expect to be given money every time she wants to do something expensive. Tell her this has nothing to do with her extroversion, personality, or favoritism. It has to do with finances. You can't afford what she's asking of you. Unfortunately for her, maybe she's being taught a valuable lesson about money and real-life circumstances. If she wants to do all these expensive hobbies, she must get a job to pay for them. My fiance, Diane, and I have been together for almost a decade. I met her in my second year of uni, and it's been fantastic ever since. She's lovely, and I cannot wait to marry her. For most of our relationship, my mom hated Diane for no reason. My mom would harass my fiance, call her the most disgusting names, and act like a teenage bully. It got so bad that I stopped speaking to my mom for years. About 2 years ago, my mom apologized for treating Diane poorly and wanted to welcome her into the family. It was somewhat unexpected. My mom never explained herself, only apologized for her past actions. Diane and I have accepted her apology, but my relationship with my mom has never quite been the same. I kept her at a distance because even if she did apologize, she did cause me a lot of pain. Diane and my mom share a birthday. It's not a big deal, but my mom acts like it's the biggest deal on earth. She used to turn her birthday into a competition of who gets the better gift. It was exhausting, and one of the reasons I stopped talking to her. Since her apology, her behavior surrounding her birthday has not been as extreme, but is still a little passive-aggressive. My mom and Diane's birthday was a few months ago, so unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate my mom's birthday the day of, but I took her out for a relaxing spa day and dinner at an upscale restaurant. We celebrated a week in Paris for Diane's birthday, where I proposed. We had an amazing time, and I'm so glad I can finally call her my fiancé. Diane is happy, and I'm happy. My mom did not say anything about our proposal, but I assumed she was happy for us or neutral. Then a few days ago, I got a call from her. She was crying. She was screaming names at me, calling me a terrible son, and wishing me a horrible marriage. My mom told me that she felt neglected on her birthday and that it was unfair that Diane got a romantic vacation and an expensive ring while she was left with scraps. I thought this was ridiculous, and I told my mom that she should be grateful for her scraps and stop acting like a spoiled child. However, she did not handle my words well and cursed me out before hanging up. Diane thinks I should have handled the situation more tactfully to avoid causing my mom more emotional distress. Edit. My mom raised me entirely by herself. My dad left when I was young, and I've never spoken to him. Not the idiot. Scraps? It's ridiculous. She's ridiculous. This is your fiancé. I love my mom, but she's never going to get what my wife does regarding gift value. Your mom is not married to you. She knows that, right? However, her reaction is so over the top and completely inappropriate. Keep setting boundaries. If your mother thinks it's a contest between her and your fiancé and is carrying on like this so soon after your reconciliation, it is no time to be throwing her bones. It's time to either completely set her straight and tell her she's on her very last chance, or let go of the whole mess and part ways again. I agree. Your mom is treating you like her husband. It's so weird. Like, did she want a romantic vacation and an engagement ring too? A spa day and an excellent restaurant are still really nice gifts. Time to go no contact with her again. She will only bring toxicity to your relationship. I, female 25, have a tight-knit friend group comprising 6 other friends of a similar age and me. We've all known each other for 7 years and are all extremely close. Of course, we occasionally have little bits of bickering between us, but overall we're good friends. One of our friends, Logan, male 28, and I used to date. It was 8 years ago, and we dated for around 10 months. The relationship was nice while it lasted, but Logan and I weren't compatible in many ways romantically and mutually decided to end the relationship. Logan now has a new girlfriend, Daisy, female 25. They started dating 5 months ago, and Logan asked if he could start including Daisy in our friend group activities. Everyone said yes, except me. I don't want Daisy to join in because Daisy's presence makes me uncomfortable. I'm not jealous that she's dating Logan. I'm uncomfortable around her because of her previous actions. Daisy went to the same school as me and tormented me throughout my teen years. She would constantly body shame me for being tall and muscular, follow me around and tease me, and get her friends to comment mean things on my social media. I'm more confident in myself and my body now, but at the time, Daisy caused me a lot of insecurity and anxiety. I explained this to everyone, including Logan. They think I'm just jealous that Daisy's dating Logan because I'm still single, and they're telling me to just take this opportunity to have some closure from bullying, and that they're sure Daisy's more mature. However, Logan insisted that his girlfriend is so kind and caring and feels terrible about her actions. I don't care if she's changed. I don't want to be around her. Last week, we all met up to go to a small event at our town center. Logan promised he wouldn't bring Daisy because she had other plans. Well, lo and behold, Daisy shows up fashionably late. She couldn't go more than 2 minutes without making a rude comment about my body after arriving. I loudly said that I couldn't do this, and I walked away from them and towards the car park. Everyone was staring at us. I didn't care. Daisy and Logan tried to follow me. Logan pleaded for me to stay and talk. I made even more of a scene by shouting at them how inconsiderate they were. I just didn't have the patience to keep my composure. I quickly left in my car. My friends all say I'm an idiot for making a scene and embarrassing everyone. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. They say she changed. Where has she changed? You have every right to feel like that, and you didn't make a scene. You told them what she did, and she did it again, even though she's changed. Maybe Logan should also start seeing her true colors. How do people keep making the victim the villain? That she commented right away, instead of at least trying to care, as he said she now is, makes me wonder if she started dating him to get to you again. The earlier bullying and that she still wants to find and torment you, hence it's some kind of unhealthy obsession on her part. You made a scene in public because you were triggered. You told your friends exactly why you didn't want Daisy included in these group activities. You voiced your concerns. How are they outraged when she did exactly what you said she did as a teen, behaved exactly like you said she would, and then you had a legitimate reaction to it? Where did it get off criticizing your reaction without considering her action? Honestly, as someone who got bullied relentlessly in school, I understand why you're conflicted. I'd suggest having an open and honest discussion with your group. If they get it, fine. If they don't, you don't need people like that in your life. So I, 22 female, recently started working at a prestigious company that is unfortunately very male-dominated. On my team, for example, I'm the only woman. There are Asian guys and another black guy, but it's mostly white dudes. And this is one of the more diverse teams. As a woman of color, it's been a challenging and often isolating experience. Anyway, one of my coworkers, Max, is the nephew of the CFO, and we started our roles at the same time. He's a white guy, an entitled idiot, and incompetent, in my opinion. He has disliked me from the very start, often trying to start arguments, being overly competitive, etc. It was difficult dealing with this because I don't want to lose my job. Anyway, last month, an incident occurred where my boss chose me over Max to accompany him to an industry event. This really upset Max, who assumed he'd be invited. He's been acting like a bigger idiot ever since. This all came to a head when I got lunch with my female colleague from another department. Max insisted on joining us. He started questioning me about the event, but I wasn't interested in discussing that. He then accused me of manipulating people to get ahead. Ridiculous. And that our boss wanted to show off his exotic diversity hire. FYI, I come from a poor, dysfunctional background, and Max joked that I ticked a lot of boxes. We argued back and forth, with him accusing me of having it easy. Again, ridiculous, till he once again said that I'm an obvious diversity hire, bimbo. I was extremely angry and told him that he's a privileged nepotism baby who gets things handed over to him. I said he'll forever bask in mediocrity, blissfully unaware of how utterly incompetent he truly is. I also told him that nobody will ever say that to his face, so he should be happy I'm doing him a favor. I said this knowing full well that I'd lose my job in the worst-case scenario. Our colleague gasped immediately and told me to apologize to Max, who looked taken aback and confused. However, I didn't apologize and just left. Later on, Max told me that what I said was messed up and crossed the line. He claimed that he didn't insult me and that I took it way too far. Then he said I'm lucky that he's choosing not to report this. Am I the idiot in this situation? He's too embarrassed to report this because what you said is true. I'm curious, did your coworker also gasp at the racist and misogynistic things this guy said and demand he apologizes to you? I guess not. Not the idiot, and I wish I'd been a fly on the wall to see Nepo dude's smug and entitled demeanor crumble. Wow, so now we know your coworker isn't an ally, let alone a good friend. She's trash as well. You need to report him to HR immediately, regardless of what he said. This guy is supposedly connected to management, and he's harassing you based on at least 2 protected classes, race and gender, and throwing in harassment, the bimbo line. He's now threatening to take you to HR. You can't let this stand. If he goes to his uncle and takes his uncle to HR before you get your story out, it'll look like you're making up your accusations to get back at him. Realize, though, that this will make things tough in the company for you. Your coworkers might be backing him up, which is troubling for you. Get ahead of this now because he will start a whisper campaign against you.